If you want cheap PC games, Xbox Live codes, and a whole bunch more, then check out G2A. A link is in the description below. Yo guys, what's up? It's XRAYZ. Welcome back to another video here. So today I actually wanted to talk to you guys about something that came out recently over the last few days, which is a report that the next gen game prices might be possibly rising, that we might be seeing, instead of a $60 game standard price for a game, instead of it being that, possibly now being a $70 game for the base game. So I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about that. We got an article we're going to go through. Let's go ahead and jump into it. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like, super appreciated. If you are new, obviously make sure you guys are subscribed and have notifications on. And if you guys want to support the channel directly, feel free to do so by checking out my sponsors, Control Freak and Scuff. You get a discount with code OGXRAYZ or G2A for some cheap PC games, Xbox Live codes, and more. They support the channel a ton, so check them out if you guys want to. Link down below. Obviously, I'll have a link to my sources in the description below. What the article says: on the cusp of the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, there's been endless debate on what's most important with next gen. Is it faster load times, better graphics, the increase in overall raw technical power that can soon rival a PC? While all pretty good answers, 2K announcing that NBA 2K21 will cost $70 on next-gen system instead of the $59.99 is a decision that could define this generation. In 2005, Activision took a big leap and released Call of Duty 2 at $59.99, marking the start of the $59.99 price point. Financial experts in the industry estimated the price point would increase alongside the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, but publishers instead started releasing more DLC and experimenting with all sorts of special editions. These adjustments were a means to offset the steadily increase of cost to develop games. Former Sony president Sean Layden explained in a recent interview at Game Labs Live on the current landscape of creating AAA games. Layden said that the cost of creating games has gone up 10 times and the current AAA model isn't working. So yes, a price increase is long overdue and therefore should be plenty of benefits to reap from it. But that also doesn't mean we could be in for a bumpy ride. Taking a business approach, having the price of a game increase to $69.99 will do wonders. While many see it as a only $10 markup on the micro level, larger publishers should see a significant increase in revenue. With the added revenue, publishers should be able to create more jobs to avoid possible crunch periods in game development. Working game developers into the ground has been an ongoing problem in the industry, and if the added revenue from increasing game prices can help relieve that, of course, or increase the wages of those developers, then we should fully support it. So let's stop right there for a second, okay? Because I feel like that brings up a couple of good points. Obviously, if it's costing more money to make games now than it did before, the amount of profits they get from it is less, which means the amount of money that they can give other people, you know, namely their developers and their QA testers and whatever, is less. There's less of a pot. But it's also true that a lot of this money that is profits, that is made from microtransactions, from shady stuff like loot boxes, is not given directly to developers. That's why you see games like Call of Duty that had loot boxes before, or Fortnite that has all those microtransactions on the games. They are making a ton of money, hand over fist, way more than it costs to develop the game. And they're making so much money monthly from that, and you don't see them going, hey, we had a really awesome month this month. We made $2 million, $3 million in microtransaction. Let's give that all to the people who are developing this game. Let's give them a big bonus, etc. We've seen horror stories when it comes to developers who are leaving studios because of crunch times and because the bonus that they get is after the game ships. So I don't think that giving these companies a ton more money is going to suddenly make the working conditions better. You're not going to see crunch times decrease that much, because at the end of the day, a company wants their bottom dollar to be more. They want to make more money. And if they can make more money increasing the price of a game from $60 to $70, you're not gonna immediately correlate that to, you know, crunch times going down, because no, if they can get the same amount of people getting paid the same amount of money to crunch a game out at the same amount of time, then that means more money for them and less money that is being distributed to other people. So I don't think it's just a black and white scenario here where it's like pay more money and suddenly there's going to be less crunch time, there's going to be more money spread. It's not true. Okay, CEOs also get paid a ton of money, more than everyone else combined most of the time. So you're not just going to magically see the money extra, which I would be okay with $70 if the game is actually worth $70. You know, if I wanted that game really a lot, I would pay for it and help those developers. And if the game's not that great or it has shady business practices, I'm not going to drop $70 for a game. Okay. Let's see how this affects also the used game market. That's going to be very interesting as well. But let's continue on from there. You might be asking, okay, I understand increasing prices of games can potentially help creators, but how does it help me? Good question. Seeing that you'll have to pay more money for something now that in the past typically doesn't sit well with people. However, there is hope. Up until now, Sony and Microsoft have kept the price of PS5 and Xbox Series X completely under wraps, knowing that the landscape of game pricing is about to change, and it's safe to assume that these two publishers factored the increase of the financial projections. What if the PS5 and Xbox Series X only cost $500? What about $400? Sony does not have to repeat the PS3, where it effectively priced much of its fans out with a $499 and $599 price point. It's possible that the $10 increase in games might be enough for Sony and Microsoft to sell these consoles at a slight loss, knowing that the money can be recouped through game sales. Offering the console a much more affordable price, we can particularly guarantee sellouts of these consoles. That will ensure higher game sales of next-gen titles, and at the new $69.99 price point, straight from the get-go, you win by getting consoles that won't cost a month rent, and the publishers win with higher game sales. I mean, I guess I could see that, but that's always been the strategy. You know, usually companies not taking the PS3 into account because holy hell, did they drop a ton of money on that guy for people to want to get it. But usually a lot of companies sell their consoles at a loss, knowing that they're going to make back the money from the games that they sell. It's so, again, I still don't see the underlying issue here. Like I would still expect the Xbox Series X and the PS5 to be at a lower price point than we expect, or maybe something reasonable like $500, $400, regardless of if a game suddenly is $10 more expensive or cheaper or whatever. So again, I don't think that we can really factor that in. I don't know, maybe. Let me know what you guys think about that down below. Maybe it'll be easier for them to swallow that if they know that they're going to make $10 more per game that's being sold. So who knows? Maybe that's true, but I just don't think that. Again, they're trying to make as much profit as they can. I don't think they're going to suddenly go, hey, we're making $10 more per game, jack down that price or lower it down. I just don't think they're going to lower it by as much as people would think, because they're still trying to make as much money as they can, which again, a company can do. That's the whole point of a business. You're trying to get as much money as you can. That's just how it works. As is the case with most good news, there's usually something bad to follow shortly after. Raising the price of games to $69.99 will most likely benefit larger publishers, but smaller ones might see rough times ahead. With the cost of creating games becoming more and more expensive, consumers already have to be somewhat picky when deciding what games to buy. That is so true. I did not even think about that. If you have only $70 and you only have that money, you can only buy one game, you're probably going to buy the game that cost $70 from a AAA title than spending $30 on an indie game. So it's definitely going to be more difficult for smaller studios to compete with these bigger studios, because that's less money that consumers are going to have to go, hey, or let's just say it's $80 or whatever. I can spend 60 on one game, 20 on an indie game, and that's $80. Now it's like, hey, I'm spending 70 on this one AAA game. I got $10 left, not enough for an indie game. I'm just going to save my $10. So it's going to also hurt those smaller developers. That's a very good point. A higher base price point unfortunately raises the possibility of some of these smaller publishers effectively shutting down or being bought. In 2018, Telltale Games shut down as a result of poor sales. Telltale Games created amazing narrative, choice-driven stories based on popular licenses, sold these games at less than $59.99 price point, and still experienced poor sales. Lesser-known titles will slip under the radar more frequently, and because of that, more of the publishers could also be shut down. Unfortunately, increasing the price of games is inevitable. Having this change occur alongside major console releases only makes sense, but publishers need to be smart about it. Consumers are not going to react kindly to a hike in games, even if inflation demanded an increase years ago. One way to ensure a smooth transition is to sell the PS5 and Xbox Series X at an affordable price and allow consumers the financial flexibility to actually be in a position to buy next-gen games. Provide better wages for the talented individuals behind the games, make them feel needed, make them feel wanted. Hopefully publishers will be transparent and proactive about utilizing the revenue increases that are sure to follow. Otherwise, people will feel slighted and think that it was all a money grab to line the pockets of higher executives, just like I said. That's literally what I think would happen. Publishers have the power to paint themselves as heroes or be portrayed as villains. Which will it be? Let me know what you guys think about this article. I think it's a really well thought out article. I think it's true. They need more money to kind of justify spending these big budgets on these games that clearly take more time than ever to make. But I don't think the extra money is going to suddenly make it, like I said, that the average developer is going to make more money, because these are all businesses. And again, like they said, it could end up affecting smaller studios, which sucks, because if you have less money now to work with and it costs more to buy a game, you're going to have less to spend on the indie developer or another game that is just a little bit cheaper. So who knows, maybe a lot of games will go free to play, and if they do that, they might see more money from microtransactions. Honestly, it might just be the way to go. Free to play games, boys, come on. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Hopefully you guys found the video informative and helpful. If you did, drop a like on the video, super appreciated. If you are new, obviously make sure you guys are subscribed and have notifications on so you don't miss a single upload. And then if you guys want to talk about anything, Twitter is literally the best place to do so. Go ahead and give me a follow over there at OGXRAYZ, link down in the description below. And then check out my sponsors if you guys want to. They support the channel directly. G2A for some cheap PC games, Xbox Live codes, and more. And then Control Freak and Scuff, code OGXRAYZ gets you a discount. You guys have an awesome day. Take care. I'm out. Peace.